The observation deck was a silent, glittering panorama of stars and the vast, swirling emerald nebula that marked the edge of the galactic commons. Here, amidst the soft hum of machinery and the faint scent of ozonic filters, the daughter of the Viridian Emperor stood with her retinue. She was 19, a creature of exquisite, delicate beauty, with skin like polished jade and eyes that held the light of twin violet suns. Her gown was a living tapestry of gossamer and light. And she was bored, her gaze, sweeping the array of species mingling at the diplomatic gala, landed on the human. He was alone, standing by the transparent alloy viewport, his posture relaxed but alert. He wore the simple, durable fabric common to his kind, a stark contrast to the radiant silks and bioluminescent scales around him. He was examining a standard-issue data slate, his expression one of calm focus. "Look," she said, her voice a melodic chime that carried effortlessly in the thin, processed air. "The solitary specimen. Do they always send their people out so unadorned?" Her companions, a blend of avian and refined mammalian species from allied worlds, tittered. A feathered diplomat from the Lyrian Reach clacked his beak softly. "They are a new voice, Princess. Perhaps their customs are still forming. They are a loud voice for a people who have so little to say," the princess replied, her tone light, meant to amuse. She began to walk, her entourage flowing with her like water around a stone, moving until they formed a loose semicircle near the human. He glanced up, offered a small, neutral nod, and returned to his slate. His indifference pricked her. He did not bow. He did not avert his eyes in respectful submission. He simply acknowledged. "Human," she addressed him, the galactic common word feeling blunt on her tongue. "You are the cultural attaché? The one they sent to observe our ways?" He looked up again. His eyes were a steady, deep brown. "Liaison and observer, yes. My name is—" "It is of little importance," she interrupted, a sweet smile on her lips. "I am curious. Your species achieved faster than light travel barely a standard cycle ago. You arrive here, into a community that has woven peace across this arm of the galaxy for millennia. What do you hope to learn? What could you possibly offer?" The question was draped in polite curiosity, but its edges were sharp. Her courtiers watched, amused. The human set his slate down on a nearby ledge. "We learn by observing," he said, his voice even, devoid of the emotional harmonics most species used. "We offer our perspective." Perspective. The princess let the word hang. A perspective of what? Scarcity? Conflict? Your historical data streams are turbulent. We have reviewed them. You seem to celebrate your struggles as if they were virtues. Here we have moved beyond such things. We have harmony. We have elegance. She gestured to the glorious nebula beyond the window. We have beauty that does not need to be conquered. The human's expression did not change, but something in his stillness shifted. It was not anger. It was a door closing. "Struggle teaches many things," he said quietly. "Resilience, empathy, the value of a quiet moment, like this one. Empathy?" The princess gave a gentle laugh. "You have a strange way of showing it. You keep to yourselves. You do not share your art, your deeper culture. You send a man with a data slate to a celebration of unity. It is as if you are not truly present." She was circling him now, not physically, but with her words. "Perhaps you are overwhelmed. It is understandable. This station, the Commons, it is the pinnacle of civilized achievement. For a species so young, so accustomed to barren rocks and struggle, it must seem like a dream. Perhaps you are unsure if you belong in it." The barb was delivered with perfect, innocent sympathy. Her retinue murmured agreement. The Lyrian diplomat's feathers, ruffled in approval, the human listened. He listened as she spoke of humanity's short-sightedness, their clumsy technology, their tragic attachment to sentimental narratives of hardship and victory. He listened as she painted his entire species as quaint, backwards children stumbling into a grand and polished ballroom. He did not interrupt. He did not stiffen. He simply absorbed the mockery, wrapped in silk, and let it settle. Finally, she finished, looking at him expectantly, waiting for the flustered response, the defensive argument, the grateful correction. These were the reactions she knew. The human picked up his data slate. He gave one last, slow look around the observation deck, at the majestic nebula, at the gathering of ancient, elegant species, at the beautiful princess who held the power to make or break fledgling diplomatic ties with a word. Then he looked directly at her. In his eyes, she saw no anger, no hurt pride, no plea for understanding. She saw only a profound, unshakable certainty, and a final, quiet assessment that found her. Lacking doubt, he nodded once more, a gesture not of deference, but of termination, and he walked away. He did not storm off. There was no dramatic flourish. He turned and walked with a steady, measured pace toward the deck's exit. His stride was neither fast nor slow. It was the pace of a man who had reached a conclusion and was now acting upon it, a man for whom the conversation, and every possible future conversation in that vein, was irrevocably overdought. The princess blinked. A faint, cold surprise trickled through her. This was not how it was supposed to happen. He was supposed to engage, to defend, to make his case before her. His walking away felt like a negation of the entire scene, of her position, of her power. It was an act so simple, it defied her sophisticated understanding of social dynamics. Her courtiers fell silent. Unsure? He leaves? The Lyrian whispered, confused. He does not seek to correct the misconceptions. The princess watched his retreating back until the doors slid shut behind him. The glittering party, the soft music, the nebula's glow, all of it suddenly felt hollow. Her victory was ash in her mouth. She had aimed to diminish him, and instead, he had rendered her irrelevant with a glance and a turn of his heel dot in his modest quarters. The human connected to the secured diplomatic channel. The face of his superior, a woman with graying hair and calm eyes, appeared. Report on the initial reception? She asked. The Viridian princess approached. She delivered an assessment of humanity as a juvenile, conflict-driven species unfit for the refined harmony of the commons. He stated, his tone factual, his superior's eyebrow raised slightly. And your response? I disengaged. Continued interaction at that juncture held no diplomatic or informational value. A small, knowing smile touched the woman's lips. They see our lack of overt emotional display as simplicity, our refusal to play their social games as weakness. Yes, the human agreed. They mistake our control for emptiness, our patience for passivity. Good, the next phase begins. The observation is concluded. Now they observe us. Days later, the crystalline matrix at the heart of the station, which regulated the containment fields for the nebula's volatile core, experienced a catastrophic cascade failure. It was not an attack. It was a flaw, buried deep in code written millennia ago by a species now extinct, a flaw no current member of the Commons understood. Alarm screamed. The station shuddered. On the observation deck, now a viewpoint onto a storm of wild, released energy, the princess watched in horror as emergency protocols failed one by one. The elegant harmony was shattered by panic. The refined species, masters of art and philosophy, had no solution. Their technology was a beautiful, impenetrable black box, and the box was breaking. The station's commander, a dignified being from an ancient aquatic race, made a mournful announcement. Evacuation was impossible. The core would breach. They had perhaps an hour before the energy surge would consume them all. Despair, silent and cold, filled the grand halls. Then a new signal requested command channel access. It was the human. "Liaison," the commander said, despair coloring his vocal bladders. "This is not a cultural matter. Our engineers are defeated." "Understood." The human's voice came through, clean and clear over the chaos. "I am not an engineer, but my people have a habit of looking at broken things. May we look?" There was nothing to lose. Permission was granted. The human who had been mocked walked onto the command deck, not alone, but with 4 others from his delegation. They carried simple toolkits and their data slates. They did not ask for the ancient schematics. They asked for live data feeds and physical access to the matrix housing. The princess, huddled with other dignitaries in a secured alcove, watched them through a view screen. They worked with a quiet, terrifying efficiency. They did not debate. They communicated in short, clear phrases. They probed panels, rerouted cables with a startling disregard for aesthetic design, and wrote patches of brute force code that appeared on their slates. Their methods were not elegant. They were pragmatic, direct, and born of 1,000 years of fixing broken systems on ships adrift in unforgiving voids, of making spare parts from scraps, of solving immediate, lethal problems with the tools at hand. They saw a system failing. They did not see a sacred artifact. They saw a problem to be solved. In 43 minutes, the cascade stopped. The shuddering ceased. The alarms died. The station held, bathed in the chaotic, beautiful fury of the untamed nebula. The command deck was silent, save for the heavy breathing of the aquatic commander. The humans were packing their tools. Their lead liaison, the one who had walked away, had a smudge of coolant on his cheek. How? The commander finally managed to ask. The human considered the question. The code was built to be perfect. It had no tolerance for error. When it found one, it froze. We wrote a new subroutine. It acknowledges the error, works around it, and keeps going. It is not elegant, but it is resilient. He looked past the commander, his gaze finding the view screen, where the princess's shocked violet eyes stared back at him. He had not sought her out. He had not even remembered she was there. He had simply solved the problem. Then, as before, he nodded. He and his team walked from the command deck, heading to their quarters to file their report. They did not stay for thanks. They did not wait for praise or recognition. The job was done. The princess stood amidst the restored artificial light, the glowing nebula now a testament not to refined beauty, but to raw, untamed power. And she understood. He had walked away from her because she was not a problem to be solved. She was merely an obstacle to be bypassed. Humanity had looked at the galaxy's beautiful, harmonious party, admired it, and then promptly checked the structural integrity of the walls. They had seen the grandeur and immediately calculated the load-bearing stress. The mockery she had offered was built on the assumption that humanity craved their approval, that they felt small before the Common's majesty. But they did not. They felt responsible. And when the beautiful, harmonious systems built by others failed, it was the resilient ones, the ones hardened by barren rocks and endless struggle, who knew how to rebuild. She had offered him her contempt, thinking it a weapon. He had received it, identified it as irrelevant to his purpose, and discarded it. He had walked away without looking back, because what was behind him was never his focus. His focus, and the focus of his kind, was always on what lay ahead, on what needed to be built, fixed, or endured. And in that moment, the princess, daughter of an emperor, felt the true, terrifying weight of the human gaze. It was not the gaze of a subject. It was the gaze of a successor. The galaxy had shown them its beauty, and the humans, polite and silent, had already begun checking its foundations.